Okay, we're going to start the fitting demo here in a couple of seconds. We're just this heifer here was blown out early this morning. We put little pink oil in the hair and combed that in to make the hair pop a little bit. Makes it a little easier to shape the hair and to clip her out. Now, if you look at this heifer, she's in a lot greener, leaner condition than the other heifers in the lineup. That's a tribute to my management. That's the way we develop our heifers to a year of age. We want them a little leaner going into the spring. But because of this, when you compare her to the other heifers in here, as she sits right now, even with the hair fluffed up, she looks a little narrower, a little leaner, not as well muscled as the other heifers in the lineup. And so what we want to try and do is try and level the playing field for ourselves a little bit by clipping the hair out, shaping it in such a way that it accentuates the good qualities that the heifer has and maybe hides some of the problems that she has. She's got a couple of problems other than condition. At this age, to my mind, she's starting to get a little bulky in the shoulder. She's starting to get a little round in her shoulder. I'd like to smooth her up in that front shoulder, make a little trimmer and neat her up into her neck. And that, by doing that, it will add some dimension to her, some width from her shoulders back through to her hips and onto her pins. The other thing she has, compared to some of the heifers in this lineup, she's got a little more set to her hocks. She's got a little bit more here. And so what we'll do when we come down to clipping that out, is we're going to bring the hair up and we're going to shape that a little bit and flatten that a little bit to try and take away from that set that she has, make that hind leg just look a tad straighter. It's not terrible, but it could be a little better. And so that's two functional problems that she has that we want to try and address as we clip her out. And that's the primary thing with clipping and fitting cattle. You have to be able to look at your animal, your own animals especially, and be ultra critical of the type, the kind, and the structural correctness or a lack thereof that these cattle have. Because if you don't know what their strengths and weaknesses are, you're never going to be able to fit them to best advantage. You're never going to be able to cover their faults and accentuate their good points if you don't recognize what they are. And so that just by highlighting that, our goal here is to make this heifer maybe look a little more like that red heifer there. A little flatter, wider, more depth. When you look at hair, and I look at her right now, she looks like a fuzzball. She's got hair sticking out, it breaks up the symmetry of the animal, breaks out the lines, it interrupts, it actually draws your attention more to her faults than if that hair was taken off. So my rule of thumb when I'm clipping is if I can see through the hair, if I can see daylight through the hair, I take it off. Because we're looking to make an animal that when you look at it, even if the hair is fluffed and full, the animal still looks dense and muscular, it still looks wide and flat, it still looks angled through the shoulder, it still has depth of body. And so that's our target, is to basically trim that shoulder, level that top, clean out the underline. Again, if you look at her belly, you'll see fluffy hair line hanging down. All that does is break up the underline. If we take them long hairs off, it's going to actually improve the look of depth and rib that she has than just fluff. And again, when we get back here to the hind leg, yes, there's a lot of hair here, there's some good stuff to work with, but we need to take some of that off to be able to add to her. So I'm going to let Jeannie talk a little bit, and I'm going to set to her with the shears and see where this goes.
Robert hit on the main point. You have to be extremely critical of your own animal. You have to learn what is right and what's not right in the structure and the shape of what you're needing that animal to represent. You can never do a good clipping job, no matter how good you get with clippers, unless you can correct the problems that your animal has. Now, by taking this hair down, he's going to level the hips so that you can actually see the nice level hips she has and the width that she has. Right now, she looks like she's peaked. She comes up like this, she's flat here. She does have beautiful hair to work with. That helps a bunch. Okay, he's going to start flattening that shoulder area. He's getting all the long hair off, making her look wedge shaped. We want a female to look like a female. We want her to be very feminine fronted. So you clean up the throat area and the brisket. You want it nice and tucked tight so that you have that clean feminine look. When you get behind an animal, you want to be able to see the big hips, and she should be shaped wedge. She should get narrower as she goes forward. That's why he's dropping down the shoulders now, flattening them out. I hope he took his Claritin this morning. He's allergic to cattle hair.
I did. I took 2.
He took 2. When he's actually finished with the heifer, we'll want you to look at both sides. Granted, he's cleaned up the front, you're still going to see that nice clean look, but he's not flattening the shoulders. So if you get in front of her, you can see the difference. When you're clipping the animal, it's very important to have them standing pretty much the way you want them to stand in the ring, because they're going to be changing their shoulder shape and their loin. So you want them to be standing up good. That's why we have the head tied up. You don't ever want to clip them with their head down. You can see how he's flattening out this hip area. And what he's doing now is widening the loin. When you take a nice flat stroke out like that, you don't want to follow down and shorten the edges, because you want that loin to look as wide as possible. So we utilize the hair to strengthen that look.
Where'd you go? Back by the beach there. By the cow. What? You're right there. Where's the quarterback?
The one thing that we do when we're clipping cattle is you want the end product to look like she's never been clipped. You don't want to have breaking lines from where she was clipped and wasn't clipped. Everything needs to be smooth. You want everything to blend.
I will after, but yeah, we'll just, okay.
As he said, he doesn't like to have hair that you can see through. The denser you get that hair, the more it looks like the animal and not hair. Clip cattle changes. It has changed over the years tremendously. We used to try to keep as much hair as possible on the tail so that their tail head came way up and you peak it up and cut it off. Now we want this animal to be just as flat from the very end of the tail to the tip of the shoulder. We want as flat and broad an area. If you leave this long, then it makes them look peaked in the tail head, and that takes away from the good wide flat hip that she has. So where the hips are and the tail, you want this triangle to be flat. You don't want it to stand up. So you want all of this as level as possible. So what you do is you find the high point, which normally should be this growth point here. And so you make sure that that is your base and you try to level off of that. Having done one side, you're going to be catching some of the hair from the other side. But if you walk around this animal after we're finished, you can see, especially when you get behind her and get in front of her, you'll see the difference in the shoulders. You'll see the difference in this hip area. It makes a tremendous difference.
Here was where I was talking about her getting a little round and heavy. Okay, up here was where I was talking about her getting, we're going to square it up a little bit here, where she's getting a little round, a little heavy up in her shoulder here. So what I'm going to try and do is take some of that leg hair, blend that into here, take that a little shorter, smooth that out a little bit more, try and make it so that she's as flat here as can be before she goes to pop into that rib. The overall impression will be one of a smooth-fronted heifer, a clean-shouldered heifer, going into one that has a real spring of rib and a barrel. I did a bottom line there a little bit. You can see, take off a lot of that long hair, it really firms her up and actually adds to her depth. And then we'll get back towards the hind leg, pull the hair on that a little bit, and try and flatten the hock, clean up straighten that hind leg a little bit, and also shape that hind quarter a little bit to try and add a little bit more in terms of muscle definition in there.
Now, when he said that she had set to her leg, and he referred to the heavy curve here, but it also is the angle of this leg. She has a little bit more angle, and that's why he's saying he wants to try to straighten it out by taking a little off the hock and leaving hair here. That'll give a straighter appearance to those legs. No animal, and I mean no animal, is perfect. So you have to figure out how to enhance their good parts and how to cover up their bad parts. That's what we do with clipping. I wish all our animals were perfect. You just shave them bald. Well, Robert wouldn't. He likes he would definitely not shave them bald. he's taking this hair down on the flat side of the hock. We want our animals to be good bones, but we don't want them to have round bones. We don't want round joints. We want flat joints. A flat joint is a stronger boned animal than if they have round bones. So you flatten that hock, so when you get behind them, there's no bulge to that hock. We want a nice flat hock, as wide as it can be. A wide, flat hock is stronger, and it's going to last long. She's going to have more longevity in your herd if that's the way she is naturally built. So we enhance on that with the clippers. He's removing the hair on the inside of the leg, the excess hair. By taking that out, it gives her a wider look when you get behind him, so that she has more of a space between her legs, which gives you a nice wide base looking animal. Everybody always thinks, oh, they got lots of nice long hair on the back end. I'm going to leave that. It makes them look really big-butted and really heavy muscle. It doesn't. You've got to get that hair dense like he just got it here. Now she looks a lot thicker. When you get behind her, this looks like it's solid muscle.
Go as fast as I can.
Robert makes this look easy. He is extremely good with the set of clippers. This takes a lot of practice. The best thing to do is just pull in an animal, one that you're not getting ready to show, and just start clipping. Play with the hair, clip on it, look at it, say, I'd like to try to make the shoulder look flatter. Play with it. Try to get the shoulder to look better than the other side. That's how you learn. You've got to play with the clippers. You've got to do it. Okay, he's going to blow her off again.
Okay? Any questions or whatever?